Do you ever feel like you are stuck at a plateau in Fortnite? Well, in this video, I've crafted the perfect routine for beginners, amateurs, and pros to take their game to the next level. As always, if you do enjoy the content, then use my creator code NVBatch. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the beginner section. We're going to be running through all the simple settings in this game that will help you improve in the long run. Right, so what I want you to do is quickly go over to your settings tab. Stay on the first tab because this is arguably the most important. Window mode, either have it on windowed full screen or full screen. If you have it on full screen, then you can actually change your resolution. So if you want stretch res, then you can do that. VSync turn off. With your FPS limit, you want this one above your monitor. My monitor's refresh rate is 144, so I'll have that on 160. Rendering mode, always keep this on performance. Brightness, keep this between 95 and 105%. Now the colorblind mode, this is optional. Some people like it. I just turn it off. I think it looks weird with it on. 3D resolution, you don't want to chuck this below 90%. Nanite virtualized geometry, have this off. This will lower your FPS. And then I have view distance on near, textures on low, and meshes on low. This will allow you to see through bushes and give you like a 20 to 30% increase in your FPS. These are also a few quick tips that I recommend turning on in your settings because this is just going to make your life so much easier in game. If you want to head over to game UI, I recommend turning reticle ammo indicator off, damage numbers on cumulative, and reticle damage feedback on hit only. If you are on mouse and keyboard, then these are the settings that I use, and these are some very good controller settings that I have copied down especially for this video. The last most important tip in the settings guide is these few game settings right here. You want to have reset building choice on, turbo building obviously have on, simple edit off, disable pre-edit option off, and auto confirm edits on both. These are the easiest type of settings. However, if you do want better peaks, then I recommend having auto confirm edits off. Now let's swiftly move on to the amateur section where we're going to look at a few drills that will help you improve your skill level at Fortnite. Let's start off with our first map, and this is going to be Mechanics Training V5. Once you have loaded into this map, you'll see editing, peace, aim, competitive, and free build. And now we're just going to hop into the editing section. I think a few that are very beneficial though is this one right here that improves your edit timing. Pretty much just loads of floors that you keep spam editing, and all this will do is gradually improve your edit timing, and before you know it, you will literally be all the way down here. It's all down to you how many drills you do, but obviously the more you're going to do, the faster you will improve. A few that aren't really beneficial is this one right here where there's just loads of like triple edit walls. So I recommend again just doing the ones that are sort of beneficial, but obviously if you are that dedicated, then run through every single one of them. Now let's move on to the aiming section. I know on PC there is Kovacs, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, but just for this video I will be doing console and PC just so I'm not missing anyone out. So this one is going to be sort of different. I don't recommend going through every single drill on here. I'm just going to recommend 3 to 4 simple drills that will help you improve your aim. So starting off, we're going to go into thin tracking. As you can see, once you load in, there will be this like, I don't know, sort of like red, whatever that is, and obviously just shoot it. Now the second thing that I recommend doing is the close long tracking. As you can see, this bot will slowly move around. This is sort of similar, but obviously it's more close up, and you can obviously track the bot and it will improve your reaction time overall. Moving on to the final drill that I recommend is glider tracking. Now believe me, this will be very frustrating to get right at the start, but eventually you will get better at it. I do also recommend using different guns on this, mainly because you need to get used to every single SMG and AR when it comes to tracking. Obviously, for example, the Veil Precision SMG is going to be a lot easier to track than, for example, the Hollow Twisted AR. We are now going to look at the piece control section. However, we're not going to go into loads of detail because I'm saving that for the pro section of the video. So obviously, as you load into the piece control section, you will see all these different drills. I want you to run every single drill twice and then do that every single time you load onto Fortnite. And most importantly, before you hop into ranked or any competitive experience. Now, a few quick tips for these type of drills. I'm going to use this simple one as an example. If you are boxing someone up and you are also in a box, you always want to have a cone inside of your own box. So for example, as I approach this player, I'm going to want to wrap 2 walls around so I'm protected from these angles. Then I'm going to want to create another box. So obviously I've got 2 boxes for additional space, and then make a right hand peak, place a cone above the player, and place a wall, move out of this box, and obviously create 2 separate walls. I know that sounds complicated, but it should look something like this. So the last piece control drill that I'm going to run through is this one right here. As you can see, we have an opponent up there, and we're going to try and make it so he cannot shoot us and we stay behind a right hand peak. This would be the ideal move for this exact situation. You want to place a ramp and then a cone and a floor. Edit these 2 tiles of the cone and the floor, and then immediately place a wall. Then you want to press edit to go on the tiles, hold down on this window tile, and then place 2 walls and 2 cones. Now you are behind a right hand peak, fully box his opponent, and he can literally not do anything about it. And if he's trying to hide behind there, you can just reset that and then just do something like that. Obviously, as I said before, add your own variation on it, but obviously I just think that is probably the easiest way to counter this player. This, however, is what you do not want to do. That is literally the most predictable thing ever, and you will just get your face one pumped. So as I said before, make sure you're protected on that right hand peak 99% of the time. It is now time to move on to the pro section of this video, and only if you feel comfortable on the amateur section that I've gone through, and you can comfortably do every single thing on them without mistake, then move on to this section right here. If not, then practice the amateur section, and when you feel comfortable enough, come back to this video and click on the pro section. Now the first tip of this pro section is this map right here. This is in my opinion better than V5. It's just got more tunneling options, and I feel like more time was definitely put into this map than V5. So when you load in, you should see something like this. And what we are looking for is the tunnel classics right over here. I want you to run through every single one of these drills until you can get these spot on every single time. And when you have these spot on, I want you to run through these every single day before you go into ranked. So this is number one of the drill. It should be pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, put your own twist on it. Do what you want to do. Don't just copy what other people do, because you need to do drills that you are not comfortable with. Just make sure you're practicing all of these 8 drills before you go into a game. Now the next drill that I want you to do is the tunnel targets in the same section. Again, run through every single one of these drills until you are comfortable with them, and again, do these before every single ranked game. As for when you get into ranks like Unreal and Champion, then these are pretty crucial. Moving on to the third drill in this map, and that is going to be peak practice. Obviously, you will be greeted with this as you walk in. I recommend having both on medium, and we're going to run through this map and show you what it does. So as you walk in, there'll be like 2 boxes to your right, and there'll be an open box with a right hand peak. And you might notice that if you jump up, or obviously get in the target's vision, it will shoot you. This is because it is replicating a real player. So for example, if you make a good peek and close it in time, you will get a point. But if you do this, you will obviously get hit and take damage. All I want you to do is make right hand peaks and maybe window peaks if there's a good opportunity, and just get this down. Obviously, you're bound to make some errors sometimes. Just like that. Obviously, you can set the target size and the difficulty on what your skill level is, but I recommend practicing this for 30 minutes every single day. However, just a quick warning, if you do select the pro difficulty and the pro target size, it can be quite difficult. So only once you feel comfortable and you've improved enough, then increase the skill level and the target size. Now, the second to last tip of today's video is to play speed realistics. In my opinion, this is my favorite one, it is by Finest. However, there are so many different speed realistics maps like Ken Beans. I think even Peterbot's got one, Mr. Savage and Mongrel. They all pretty much do the same thing, but I do recommend playing one with a rank system. Obviously, it just gives it a bit of competitiveness and something for you to grind. I recommend playing these maps for 15 minutes before you get into a game of ranked, as these are hands down the most realistic scenarios for actually playing ranked anyway. Now, moving on to the last tip of today's video is to simply just play ranked. Now, whether you like it currently or you don't, I know a lot of people hate it. If you want to really reach that pro level, you have to play ranked. This is because 99% of the pros are currently playing ranked. Sure, you can warm up in creative and do what you want in creative, but none of that matters if you can't replicate it in ranked or tournaments. Try setting a goal like reaching Unreal in like 2 to 3 weeks. I think for most people who are actually good at the game should be realistic, and just keep setting yourself these small little goals. It will be easy to lose motivation, and some days you just can't be asked to do it. I understand, but setting these goals will just get rid of any lack of motivation or anything like that, and better you as a player. So boys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if any of these tips did help you out, and as always, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.